Hello, and welcome to Netflix and Grill, the show where I rip off famous faces from the world of TV and film. Now today, I'm going to be Princess Margaret, as played by the gorgeous Helena Bonham Carter, gorgeous and very, very talented. And the look that we're aiming for today is something a bit like this. So a lilac lid with quite a black, deep black flick, a little bit of colour in the cheeks, and a kind of pinky lip, which was very of the time. So instead of sort of trying to modernise it, I think I'm going to stay quite true to that look and try and sort of recreate it. So, enough gabbing, let's get started, shall we? So to begin with, I am actually going to go in on the eyes. So I've already done my base. I used Double Wear by Estee Lauder, which is one of my favourite foundations for quite full coverage. And I've concealed, and I used, what did I use? I think I used Tarte, yes. I used Tarte Shape Tape under my eyes. And sort of over my scarring, which I've sort of tried to cover. And I've powdered using Coty Air Spun, which is a lovely sort of classic powder, and I've also popped on a little bit of bronzer, which you should be able to see a little bit. It's picking up a bit, just to kind of match my face to my neck, really, because I used a bit of fake tan a while ago. So yeah, just didn't want to look too pale for you. So let's get started. I haven't done my brows either, it's worth saying. We'll do them as well. So the palette that I'm going to use is by Revolution, and it is, oh sorry, you get to see my lights there, woo, behind the scenes. It's lovely. It's called the Maxi Reloaded palette, and I'll just open her up so you can see all the pretty colours. So what I'm thinking we're going to use is this kind of lilac-y one here, and then that was the sort of the main one, and then if that's not strong enough, which it might be the case, strong enough, sorry. Then I'm going to pump it up with a little bit of this NARS one, which is called Kawaii? Don't know. I love that colour as well, just by the by, but that's nothing to do with the look, so we're going to go for the purple. So I'm going to grab a brush. I'm going to go for one that looks like I haven't just used it. And I'm just going to take some of that purple that we spoke about, where is it, that one, onto my brush, and I've primed my lids with Eden by, what's it called, Priming Potion by Urban Decay, and that's the only thing that really works on my lids, to be honest. I'm going to work on this side actually, so I'll just do everything on this side and then I'll match it up so you don't have to sort of painfully sit and watch me do the whole thing, which is boring. Okay, let's go for it. I'll just do it in here actually, it's easier. I mean, it's not a ton of payoff, but then it's not a super duper intense purple on her either, so maybe we get away with it. There's actually a bit more shimmer in this colour than I thought there was. I actually wanted it to be more matte, but you can't always get what you want. So I'm just sweeping that over the lid. It's just above the brow bone. No, just above the socket, not the brow bone, that'd be a bit high. Making sure that it's all covered. Sorry if I look a bit knackered today, it's because I didn't get much sleep last night, thanks to upstairs playing video games until about 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's why I don't exactly look my best. Hopefully that's going to change once we're done. So you can see it's kind of there or thereabouts. Don't want it to be super, super bold. So I'm going to use my ring finger just to take the edge off that a bit. These blend really nicely. I wouldn't say they're the most intense of pigments, but you don't always want that. You know, it's a bit of a kind of social media, what's the word, kind of trend that everyone wants the sort of maximum pigment that looks the coolest on camera, but actually they're quite hard to work with, those pigments, especially if you're, you know, you're not a pro, you're not used to handling them. it's very easy to put too much on at one time. So actually it's better to just sometimes build it up until you've got something that you're confident with. So I'm like quite happy with that, but what I might do now is use the NARS shadow that I spoke about before just to define the socket line a little bit more. I mean, this is a serious purple, so I'm going to tread very carefully. I'm just tapping off the excess. The brush I'm using, by the way, is by Glossy Makeup, which is a lovely brand by Natasha Zaki, who's a very talented artist herself. And I just love these because of their ombre effect. I am a fan, as we know, of quite bright colours, so yeah, I love using them. They cheer me up. So it's actually quite a rounded eye that Helena's got, so I'm going to take the colour right down into this sort of part of the socket, and then I'm actually going to sort of blend it into the corner of my eye a little bit. So you can see that's just given a little bit more definition to the socket line. I'm just making sure that's really nicely blended, because this is a royal look, people. We cannot blend enough, can we? There we go. So I'd say that's about the level of colour that I want. So it's worth saying the scene that I want to try and recreate is when Princess Margaret is in the bath wearing her tiara. It's that famous shot. So that's why, I mean, obviously I'm going to get naked for you later. It's worth saying that I am going to run a bath and take a photo of myself in the bath. Charlotte gets that lovely job, my housemate. So it'll be the first time I've got my kit off for anyone in quite a while. Very exciting. So anyway, we digress. That is the purple part done. So now I'm going to move on to doing my liner. And actually, for a change, normally I've been using the Lady Gaga eyeliner, the pen one, which I really like. But just to do something a little bit different, today I'm going to use the Longwear Gel Eyeliner by Bobbi Brown, which is obviously a really famous product. A lot of people like using it. It's very black. The only thing I can find sometimes with it, as somebody with really greasy eyelids, is that occasionally it will transfer a bit on me, but I'm hoping that's not going to happen today. We'll give it a whirl. It's been a while since I've used this, so yeah, I'm kind of excited to try it. And I'm actually going to use the Bobbi Brown eyeliner brush as well, ultra fine eyeliner brush. Obviously you can use any brush you like, but because I used to work for them, I have this one. So I'm going to coat it all the way round, make sure that it's really nicely coated, and I'm just wiping off the excess liner onto the edge of the pot so that we don't have too much on there. And then for this bit I'm going to need to do it into my mirror. Sorry guys, I hope you can still see. You should be able to. And I'm going to go from the inner part of my eye using the tip of the brush, and I'm going to work my way out. You just take it quite slow, and then I'm turning my brush around and working back in from this side. So what you want to do initially is just get that colour as close as possible to the base of your eyelashes. So you're almost going in between your lashes until you don't have any gaps, and you want to make sure that you're going quite close into, I really hate doing this bit, it freaks me out, no end. But you do want to try and make sure that you get this bit, inner corner of your eye, because that helps to give you a more elongated looking eye and defines like the whole eye basically, rather than just parts of it. So I'm just going to keep going over that until I've got something that's quite solid. I feel like a little girl, like with my little mirror, like and my crown. It's fun. So I'm actually going to go back into the pot and coat again, just because I want more pigment. And I'm using sort of the edge of the brush now, just to sharpen up that line. I'll put this mirror down for a sec so I can, because what I do like to do sometimes is, because I'm a little bit older, sometimes it sort of gets trapped in the old wrinkles a little bit, so you just want to pull the skin taut and just get it all coated. and it's not a particularly thin line in the picture, but obviously I have to work with my eye shape as well, and I don't have sort of generous sockets like, sounds rude, like Helena has, so I've got to work a little bit differently with my eye shape. But you know, anyone can wear this look, it's just a case of tailoring it to suit you. So I think that is pretty solid as a line. I'm just going to check. Yeah. And once you're happy with your line, it's time to do the flick. So to do this, I'm going back in again just to make sure my brush is completely coated. And each time I'm not taking much onto the brush, so it's not like you're going to crack through this part. I've had this for ages, to be honest. And as long as you put the lid on properly, it's not going to dry out. And to do the flick, I'm going to take my brush on its side and I'm going to angle it up towards the base bottom of my eyebrow. And all I'm doing is going to draw a little line from the side in. You can do this with your eye open or closed. I'll close mine actually. And just keep going over it until you're happy. And then to perfect it, I'm going to take a Q-tip or cotton bud, whatever you want to say, and I'm going to use something that I don't have here actually. Okay, we'll have a plan B. Another good tip for how to perfect your winged liner, this is a good one, is you take a wipe. So these are just by Lidl or something, just cheapo face wipes, Ciencia face wipes. And I'm going to take my Q-tip and I'm going to put it, I don't really know how to show you this, I'll do it like this. So put it onto the wipe, you've got a naughty ghost, and then you hold it over the wipe, you hold the wipe over the cotton bud and twist it. So what you end up with is a cotton bud that's covered in a wipe. Is this the most sustainable solution? No, it isn't, but I forgot to go and get my eye makeup remover, so sorry. Using your little contraption, start at the corner of the eye and just bring it upwards. See that? And you will have a little bit of excess liner, which you can just, again, erase using your little tool. And it just helps to give you a crisper line. And then we are going to go in with some concealer just to tidy up where we tidied up, in a way. So I'm going to use e.l.f. Flawless Concealer. I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to use a Bobbi Brown brush, concealer brush. And I'm going to take some of that concealer onto the brush. And then I'm going to use it to tidy this line up. Looks pretty good. Now, using what's left on your eyeliner brush from earlier, what you want to do is just lightly define the under eyelashes. I noticed in the photo that it's kind of like mainly through the centre, so I'm just going to run it through, and it's really just using what's left on the brush. I haven't gone back in again. I'm just going to run it through, can't talk when I do this, the lower lashes, and it's just going to give a tiny bit more definition. You can see, like, I've just really lightly defined, you can see better if I do it like that, those lashes. Not too much. Okay, and then we're going to do eyelashes. So I'm going to curl my eyelashes first, using my trusty Shuamura blush curlers. Starting at the base and moving up the lashes. We're going to use the Stila huge Extreme Lash Mascara. Got a huge brush, this one. I mean, it is a real player. I'm just going to wiggle that through the lashes. Now, it's up to you. You could also, if you're brave enough, take your liner underneath the lashes, so actually next to your eye. It freaks me out. I just don't like doing it, so I don't usually do it. But it does help to give a tiny bit more definition. I can actually see at this angle that I need to fill in a little bit more underneath. You might not pick it up on the camera, but I can see it. So again, I've just taken some of that liner on my brush and I'm going to fill that in. I think that looks really nice. I might extend my flick a bit more as well while we're at it. There, that's better. A bit more drama. And underneath, I'm just going to use what's left on the brush to do my lower lashes. I think that looks nice. I don't think she's got any purple under the eye, so I'm just going to leave that with the defined under lashes. So leave it as is. Now for brows, I'm going to use one of my favourite products, Brow, for brows, by Benefit, and I use number 3, and it's a cream gel brow colour with brush. I really like the brush. I mean, please forgive this packaging. It's even quite royal in itself. You can see how popular this brow product is with me. I really love it. It's the perfect colour. What you want from brow colour is something that's not too warm, because that's a dead giveaway. Most people don't have any warmth in their brows. I always start where I want the most definition, which is through my arch, and then I bring it down onto the tail of the brow. Because what you don't want is a ton of product through the front of your brow, because then that makes you look quite angry. So even if you are, you don't necessarily want everyone to know. And then anywhere that you're, again, I haven't gone back into the product, I'm just using what's left on the brush. I'm just going through any kind of sparser areas, and I find that doing a bit of a horizontal line underneath this part of the brow, you pick that up, yeah, just helps to give a bit more definition, even if, like me, you've chosen not to pluck your brows in quarantine. So I say quarantine, it's not really, what's it called? Isolation. It just sort of helps them look a little bit tidier, I think. So I really like using these pomades because I think it looks a lot softer than some of the pens and pencils that you can get. I do use them sometimes, but quite often I will just use Brow. And I really kind of just rub it through the brow. And then what you can do is, if you've got a, yeah, there we go, here's a spoolie, hasn't got anything on it, it's just a dry spoolie. And I just run that through to blend everything out. And then I'm going to chase that up with a 3D brown, where's my elocution? 3D brow tones, which is by Benefit as well, and it's subtle brow enhancing highlights. It has got a bit of shine to it, which sounds weird, but actually does work quite well. I'm using number 4, and it's kind of like this bronzy colour. Don't want to go too mad with this, but a little bit can be nice for sort of, you can see it's just giving a bit more definition to my brow. A bit like just a regular brow gel, really. So I'm brushing it up through, and then across here. It's a cool little brush on here as well, actually. And I've just got a tiny bit of splashback on my face, so I'm going to again use my cotton bud just to get rid of that. And then I'm going to use my finger just to pat that down to keep my brows in place where I want them. So you can see sort of side by side, this is far more glamorous, let's face it. It's getting there. So I think we're good with eyes, and now what I'm going to do is do a little bit of highlighting. If I can remember where I put my highlighting block thing. It was here. Oh, it's under my mirror. Okay, so highlighting, we're going to use Urban Decay Afterglow, and I'm actually going to use there are a few different colours in here. Oh god, the mirror thing is terrible. I'm going to use this one as a blush, and I'm going to use a combination of these two as my highlighter. So for the blush, I don't want it to look too strong. Which brush shall I use? I'll use this one by Real Techniques 206, which is technically supposed to be a contour brush, but who cares. I use all my brushes for everything. And I'm going into peroxide, which is that pinky shade that I showed you before, making sure it's nicely coated. And I'm going to take that through the apple of my cheek. And this is nice because it's not matte, it's got a tiny bit of shimmer to it, so you don't want the skin to look too flat, especially not on camera, so it's quite good for that. And then I'm going to use, yes, a combination of Bliss and Not Safe for Work as my highlighters. Really nice. I know it's not a super highlighted look in the photo, but hey, it's 2020, we get to do what we want, right? From the confines of our own houses. Going back into Bliss. It's not a megawatt highlighter really, but it's quite nice. Don't want it to be too much. Do a bit of the nose as well, the old Cupid's bow, technically. I feel like we have to do that if we're on Instagram. Then I'm going to use Bliss on my finger, and I'm just going to pop some of that under my brow bone, which actually is picking up quite nicely. And then also in the inner corner, just to kind of catch the light. I always do that. Just going to go back in with a bit more of that Bliss, which is this colour. That's a nice highlighter. Sorry, the light's not amazing. I'm trying. Okay, that's done. I'm going to put the lid back on my eyebrow stuff before it dries out. Fascinating stuff, people. Okay, then it's time for lips. So I'm going to just wipe this highlighter off my hands before we continue. I did put a little bit of lip balm on earlier, but that's now gone. I think probably because I'm a bit dehydrated. Just have a bit of orange squash, which is obviously Princess Margaret's drink of choice. Probably. Okay, now it's lip time. So I'm going to line my lips using Gossip Girl by Huda Beauty, and it's the lip contour, I think it's called. Yeah. Not going to do any crazy overlining because this is Princess Margaret, not Kim Kardashian. I know it sounds a bit weird to do quite a pink lip with the purple eyeshadow, but back in the day that was completely acceptable to do both lips and eyes. And I want to stay true to the on-camera look. Lovely. So that's the lining. Then for my lip colour, I'm actually going to using a lot of Bobbi Brown actually today, that's fine. So it's this product by Bobbi Brown, which I think is just really lovely colour. It's a really comfortable liquid lip, it's not drying at all, it's got a nice bit of moisture to it, and it doesn't look too matte when it's dried down either, which is good. So this one is the Luxe Liquid Lip High Shine Brilliance Intense in Italian Rose, number 3. So shout out to all my Italian friends who I hope that one day I will see again soon. And I'm just going to fill in that line. So much pigment in this. You don't need much product at all. The brush is the sort of spongy thing is a really nice shape as well. You can really get good control with it. Looks a little bit dark, but I'm just going to again use my cotton pad just to tidy up. Trusty cotton bud. your teeth look really white, this one. So comfortable to wear. I think liquid lips can sometimes be really drying, so it's quite refreshing to find one that's comfortable. Okay, I think feeling very regal, and I think that's pretty much the main event. I'm just going to blend that line out a tiny bit more because it's still looking a little bit harsh on the eye. I'm going to go back in with my lip liner, so I always just use this time to make little adjustments. Feeling very Princess Margaret right now. Love it. So I'm going to go away and do the other half of my face so I match up, and I will see you in a minute. And there we have it. So I've matched up both sides. I also added a little bit of nude liner inside my eyes because sometimes with the purple on the eye, it can, I don't know, it kind of, when it's a bit pink inside the eye, it doesn't look so nice. So I have done that. I've obviously added gloves, which feels so right. I love gloves. And there we go. So that is my regal Princess Margaret from Netflix, The Crown. Feeling my regal queen fantasy, feeling good. So I am going to go and strip off now, ready for Charlotte to take my photo in the bath. Hope you liked this tutorial, and give it a go. Let me know how you get on. #NetflixandGrill. And obviously DM me, ask me questions. I love hearing all of your skincare, makeup dilemmas, and I will help out wherever I can. And if you've got any suggestions for who you would like me to take on next, so from the world of TV and film, let me know and I will give it my best shot. Thanks everyone, take care, bye!